Guys, what's up?
Dang it, I was gonna go faster. So we're doing something we've never done before. We're taking the video, the vlog from this one camera and using it for both platforms, which is really cool.
Yep. Well, it was just a busy day today, so we're like, both of us need some content for today for our vlog, but we're like, well, today was just crazy and we couldn't vlog any of it, so what do we do? And then we were like, oh, let's talk about this.
Yeah. And someone actually talked to me about, or asked me about this topic, because, so you guys know my minimalist journey so far, and Star has her minimalist journey that she's going back to her roots. But someone was like, is it easier for girls to be minimalists than it is it easier for a girl than it is for a guy, or is it easier for a guy than it is for a girl, or is it about the same with being minimalist? So I figured we'd take my point of view and Star's point of view and combine it and see, and we've never talked about it together about this topic, so it'd be kind of nice, you guys are getting the raw end of everything.
Yeah, he just copied me.
Did you do this already?
No, I started becoming a minimalist, and he was like, oh, me too.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely copied her. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
It's okay. You didn't own, like, too much before, so I feel like you had less than me, like, before we were, like, minimalists.
It's okay. I'll give her that, because, I've actually lived van life before, and,
yeah.
You haven't.
Yeah, because it keeps getting robbed of me. It keeps getting robbed of me. Like, I just am trying so hard to live van life, but, like, life is like, nope, it's not happening for you. Come June, we are moving into the van. I don't care what happens in our life. We are moving and living in a van, and we're going to be beach bums.
Beach bums. What's up, dudes?
It shouldn't be that hard of a thing to make happen. Like, I mean, it's basically just asking to be poor and homeless. Like, that's really what we're asking for.
Sarah's one day, she literally broke down. She's like, I'm so pissed. And I was like, wait, why are you mad? And she's like, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to live in a van.
The opportunity keeps getting taken away from me. And I'm like, it should not be that hard to live out of a car. Like, it should not be that hard. It should be harder to find an apartment and to be able to pay for the apartment. Like,
but believe it or not, it's easier to live in the apartment than it is to live in the van.
Comfortably.
No, sorry. It's easier to, I feel like it's easier for us to live what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Like, it's easier, for me personally, it's easier to live out of an apartment, like live the apartment life. Getting an apartment and living regular life is easier than to live out of a van and live homeless, like the van life. Like, to me, because like, that's why we haven't been able to do it before, because it's like harder than you think, actually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you have to make sure that you have like the supplies and tools to be able to make sure you're staying healthy too, because it's easy to just go live in your car or van, but like to do it in a way where you're taking care of yourself, I think that's where it's hard, because cooking, like the food that you're eating, it's much harder to just like move into a car and be able to eat healthy and have those tools to make it easier, like a stovetop, like where you can actually make like good food instead of just eating processed food all the time. So I think that's what's hard about it, is like maintaining good health and like also just like even like mental health, making sure you're good.
For me, it's kind of like stepping away from like regular life is hard, because it's like to live in your van and travel and stuff, it's like requires you to like give up your day-to-day job and like things like that, where it's easy to like have your day-to-day job, live in an apartment and go through life, like that's super easy. But to like walk away from it all, go to live in the van, live that kind of life that's against the norm, can be really tricky. And a van is super expensive. Like, it's expensive, guys. Like, these people are living out of their vans and living homeless. Like, it's not easy to just get a van. And
I don't know if you guys have been watching like reels on Instagram, but there's like this new popular sound going around that it's called the new rich, and it's van life, and it's true. Like, it's expensive to live that way because you have to go buy a nice van, and usually if you want to be able to stand up in it, you got to go get a more expensive van. If you don't know how to build it out, you have to buy one that's already built out. And then getting like outdoorsy gear, like camping stuff, because you need like a stovetop. And if I'm assuming that if you're in a van, you're probably hiking and camping and stuff. It's expensive. It's like the new like rich lifestyle.
And to be able to travel in your van and stuff, like you have to have savings.
Oh my gosh.
Like there's no way. And van gas is super expensive. Oof. You think regular gas is expensive? To fill up a van is like really expensive. So like it's way harder than you guys think, and it's really expensive. And if you disagree, then you're probably just stealth living in a van somewhere local, and you're not driving around the country and traveling.
Yeah, I think it's the traveling that's like racks up the bill so much.
Because once you get a van, then you have to pay for the remodeling, or you do it yourself. But if you're not talented enough to do it yourself, you have to like pay for a lot of stuff to get done in the van. By the time you convert a van over, you've already spent so much money. And then whatever you have left in your savings, that's what you're using to travel with. And if you don't have a job that you're working remotely, then there's just no way to do it, or unless you have a really good savings. But other than that, it's really hard. Mm-hmm. So
I think we got off track.
Yeah, way off track. Like way off track.
While you were talking, I was like, what are we supposed to be talking about already now?
So the topic of this is it easier for a guy or a girl to be minimalist? Is it easier for a girl to be minimalist than it is for a guy, or a guy, a girl? So from my perspective, I'm going to say that I feel like it's easy as a guy to live a minimalist lifestyle because, one, guys don't really use makeup, and the ones that do, like, I don't think they're looking to be minimalist in the first place. I could be wrong. I got like 3 t-shirts, a couple pants.
Yeah, men are just boring. I do think that women just come with more products. Like, yeah, makeup is a good example. There's a good chunk of there's a good amount of women out there that like to wear makeup. So yeah, I would say that. And like I feel like women are just naturally more into like things for our skin, like skincare and like hair care. Like I feel like we're just more into that kind of thing. Also, I think even with like clothes, I think women just have more options. Like women have dresses and activewear and pants and shirts and sweaters and cardigans. Like we have so much to choose from that I think it is, right off the bat, I'll say I think it is a little bit harder for women to downsize because we just have more options. And there's more that goes into getting ready for the average woman. Obviously, like not every woman wears makeup. Not every woman cares about like having like a like cleansers and moisturizers for their face. And I mean, I don't have a skincare routine.
So I guess my question then would be like, if you're a minimalist woman, like, are you more natural? Like, do you use less products like on your face and stuff, like makeup, less things like that? You're just like more natural, or like?
I think it depends on the person, because like what I say on my channel is, my definition of minimalism is that it doesn't mean that you have to own like next to nothing. It just means that everything you own, you use. So I don't think that by having all these products on your bathroom counter, I don't think that makes you not a minimalist. It only makes you not a minimalist if you never touch them. You just keep stuff that you don't use. But at least that's my definition, is that the stuff that you have in your house, you use all of it. It's all functional. Nothing just sits there collecting dust. That's why I don't have a bunch of bathroom products, because like I know that I'm not in the headspace to like have a routine of like washing my face. I'm so lazy about it. So that's why I haven't done it yet, because I don't want stuff collecting dust. I only want stuff that I'm using. And until I feel like making that commitment to like having that routine of like taking care of my face, I don't buy it yet. But women also naturally just have more too, because, well, we have that time of the month. We have to have things in stock for that time. And I don't know, there's just like, I feel like there's just more when it comes to hygiene for women.
So from a guy's perspective, and I don't know the average amount of guys that have to have tools, but I have to have tools. Like, I have to have a drill, I have to have a wrench socket, I have to have things like that, because if something breaks, I need to be able to pull out my staple gun or my drill and be able to fix it. And so, I don't know, again, I don't know if this is an average guy kind of thing, or if there is women that do have that too, but like, I know for me, as a guy, being a minimalist, like, I also have to have my drill set, and I don't use it that often, but when I do need it, like, it needs to be there, and I need to be able to have a drill or a staple gun or some kind of tool to fix something, because if I don't have it, then I'm like, this sucks. And so to like, I don't use makeup and stuff, but like, I do have a whole bag of tools that I will not get rid of because I have to use them, you know. You just never know when you'll use them. So I do think, yeah, you have like the makeup and stuff, but I think some guys have like tool bags and tool kits. And
yeah, and I think it's just keeping it to a minimum is good.
Yeah.
Like I said, like nothing collects dust. Like the makeup I have is such a small portion because I'm not super into makeup. I just have the basics and nothing collects dust. And if it does, I just get rid of it. Like, I don't know. The bathroom is what irritates me the most as being a minimalist because I just feel like bathroom stuff, there's just so much. Like being a girl, there's just so much that you need and or choose to have. Like, I love wearing makeup. So like, yeah, I choose to have makeup, but there's just so much.
Yeah.
There's like hygiene stuff, there's makeup, there's products, there's sunscreen to keep your skin safe, and I'm just like, geez, it makes me irritated every time we move. I'm just like, the bathroom should just be one tiny box, but it's never one tiny box. It's always something huge, and I'm like, oh, I hate it.
I will say though, as a guy, bathroom stuff, you're right. Like, I have toothbrush, a toothpaste,
deodorant,
bar of soap, and a deodorant. Like, other than that, maybe floss, but other than that, like, there's nothing else that I have.
You have like some hair products though.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. I have a few hair products. Yeah, that's right. Maybe I have a bigger bag than I thought. Maybe, yeah. And there is a lot of guys out there that needs gel, hair stuff. Like, you know, there's a lot of like skincare for guys are getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of guys out there that are getting more. Shoot, I might even be getting more stuff for my skin because the older I get, I'm like, I need to start taking care of my skin more. You know. If I'm gonna be showing,
gonna look good. I don't think I've ever seen you get a pimple. It's so annoying. I break out all the time, and I'm always like in the mirror, like, and he's over there just looking flawless all the time. I'm like, oh, this is a struggle.
Well, thank you, baby. You know what they say black don't crack. If you know what I mean.
True. I'm gonna be like old and wrinkly at like 70, and he's gonna be still looking like this, and I'm gonna be like, what the freak?
Black don't crack unless you smoke.
But I have an advantage. I don't smile very often. I have RBF, so I won't have as many wrinkles in this area.
Oh, babe, the more you hang out with me, you're gonna be smiling a lot more.
Seriously,
so
it hurts my
goodbye
face.
to the wrinkles. I mean, hello wrinkles. So we're going through the process, and we're gonna like downsize our entire home. And I'm excited
to side-eye me? You were like, our entire home?
I'm excited to go through that with you guys and show you the process of doing that. And then we'll really get down into like, you know, more about like guys being minimalist versus girls. But for right now, I will have to say that my honest opinion is I think it's easier for a guy to be a minimalist just because I feel like guys don't need to, like, I don't know. I feel like guys can live off of like 3 t-shirts, 1-2 pair of jeans, and
this is just like the average guy or the average girl.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean, in today's world, like, there's so many different types of people out there, you know? Like, just because you're a guy doesn't mean you don't wear makeup. It doesn't mean that you don't wear, like, more, like, options as clothes. I do think that men's clothing is definitely just more simple. It is just, like, t-shirts and jeans.
Unless you're a really stylish guy.
Yeah, unless you're really stylish. But, I mean, again, like, the average guy, I think, wears pretty simple clothes.
Yeah. You got, like, maybe a basketball or a soccer ball that you keep, you know, with you. The minimalist videos that I do watch with the guys, they tend to... There's a lot... I can't say this because I don't know, but I feel like there are more guys that are extreme minimalists. Maybe I'm wrong. Than there are girls. Because, like... I feel like guys are okay with just throwing on maybe 2 socks.
Well, again, it comes down to like things like makeup and stuff. I think if a girl really likes pampering herself, and that's something that she does on like a regular basis, loves wearing makeup, you know, all that. I feel like the only like women who are extreme minimalists are ones that like probably just have a tube of mascara and like chapstick and like keep it super simple. They probably don't have like any facial care stuff, maybe like sunscreen or something. I think they probably keep it like super simple. Like when I was an extreme minimalist in Thailand, I didn't wear makeup. Like I just went through that phase in my life. I didn't wear makeup. I had a tube of mascara, but it ran out and I just never got a new one. So yeah, like that was a sacrifice I made because I was so into traveling at that time in my life. I just only cared about living in a different country and just I didn't want to carry around a bunch of stuff. And so being an extreme minimalist was the best thing for me. And so that meant not wearing makeup. And that's just because that was just another thing to carry around and I didn't want to.
I can see that.
So yeah, I think if a woman is an extreme minimalist,
she can do it.
I think that they need to, like, their makeup is probably just like 1 or 2 things, and like maybe like again like like sunscreen.
And I've noticed quite a bit of them like cut their hair, like cut it down.
You know, I've noticed that too. Yeah, they minimize on their hair too.
Yeah, minimize, because I guess that means less hair product.
That's true. That's probably what it is that you don't have to have like
hair ties and things like that.
That's probably what it is. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
So, I mean, that's cool. And so, like, I do think girls can be, I don't know. It's still a toss-up. I don't know if guys can, like, if it's easier for a guy or a girl. I mean,
I think it just depends on the guy and girl.
If you go off of, like, normal society, it's hands down guys. It's easier for guys, like, based on just, like, the traditional idea.
Like, the basic image of a man
basic
and a
image of a woman and a man.
I think that's why it's hard to think about now today, because like there's so much fluidity and people are just, you know, they're just themselves, and it's just, today's world is so interesting that it's not just like man and woman and like men wear like these clothes and women wear these clothes. Like it's so broad now, so this is like an interesting topic to think about, because I think it literally just depends on the man and woman. Like between us, I do think that it was easier for you because you just don't have as much like from the start. For me, like most of these clothes are mine because she has like
different purses.
Yeah, being a girl, like purses for girls. Like I am like that girl that I love having different types of clothes. Like I just love it. I love that there's so many options. So I had a lot of stuff to get rid of, you know, and I still like having options, and I'm actually going through a phase right now where I'm realizing that this wardrobe that I showed you guys, it's not really working for me too much, so I'm kind of like switching things out and like trying new things. But yeah, it's definitely, it's kind of rough for me personally as a girl, is just that, I don't know.
Yeah, and like, I would think, so if a girl is like, you know, doesn't care about makeup, doesn't care about having long hair, could go bald, and like, not bald, but low cut, and, you know, doesn't care about wearing different fancy dresses or different types of stuff, just t-shirt, you know, shorts, pants, and just basic like that, like a guy, then I think it becomes tricky, you know? There's no, it might not be easier for a guy or a girl, but like if you're a girl that loves your makeup, loves taking care of your hair, and like love dressing up, like it becomes way harder than it is for a guy. But also, again, if you're a guy that likes to get, you know, likes to put product in your hair and take care of your skin and, you know, dress very nicely, and, you know, and if you're working in a professional environment.
Yeah, I think lifestyle has a lot to do with it too.
So
if you're like working in a professional world where you need like nice like suits or nice formal dresses, like you have to have those on top of like your everyday clothes too. So I think that also kind of dictates the whole situation.
And if you're like a girl or a guy that is into like an extreme kind of sport that requires a lot of gear, then like that's a whole nother thing, you know. Like if you like
Yeah.
rock climbing and like you skydiving and things that requires different outfits and stuff, like, and you have to have those, like a diving suit or things like that.
Yeah.
Those all add up more and more. And so honestly, I don't know. I don't think it's, I don't know. It's a hard topic. I get it. I don't know which one requires more. But if we're going off traditional, regular, modern, not modern, but regular, standard old life, I'd say the guy is easier to go minimalist. But if you're talking about today's day and like there's just too many different variables.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my answer for you guys. I don't know.
But yeah, that's it. We just wanted to discuss that on camera, I guess. We have never discussed this before. Literally, this was us discussing it for the first time.
Yeah, seriously. We just had the topic and just jumped with it. But like, this is the first time we've ever even talked about it or thought about it. So, well, I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking out this vlog.
And I want to also thank you guys for watching.
And so, just so that you guys, between us, just between you and I, she can't hear us. What you should do?
What are you saying?
So this,
You're not saying anything. You just see me in the back. You're like, your hand is here, and I'm like,
what do you say? But seriously, love you guys so much.
Oh, Luna misses us.
Luna wants us to go spend some time.
Oh, no. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.